mean, when I first started writing rhymes, I wasn't all that nice, you know what I'm saying? But I was around people that knew how to rhyme, and it just built my skills up even more. I knew what I wanted to do.
Yo, what up, everybody?
It's all
Welcome
about
back
being
to the
focused.
Dubs
Once
Only
they get focused, then
podcast.
they
We're on
know.
episode 11 right now, and we got a big thing to cover, which is going to be the Boston Celtics winning their 18th championship. And let's just get right into it with that. So we're going to start off our first thing and just what are our initial thoughts on Boston and Dallas series. So my initial thoughts going into this series was that Boston was going to win the series at 6 games. I wanted to see more pushback from Dallas, but just from the way that Boston played throughout the whole series and throughout the whole season, it's you can't speak enough on their four. I mean, they're all guards with Drew Holiday, Derek White. You got Jason Tatum, you got Jaylen Brown. Shout out to all those four players because all those players can switch onto anybody. So I just seeing them come out all season, that's just what they've been able to do. And the Drew Holiday signing, just not signing, the trade that happened with Milwaukee, trading him to Portland for Damian Lillard, and then Portland in the end trading him to Boston is just man. If you're a Boston fan, it works wonders. If you're not a Boston fan, and especially if you're a fan of the East, and especially if you're a Milwaukee fan, you hated how it all turned out in the end. So initial thoughts, just how I thought I thought I'd see more pushback from Dallas throughout the whole series. I wanted to see more Kyrie. I mean, everyone wanted to see more Kyrie. I want to say it was pretty much a disappointment throughout the NBA Finals. I think him going into this Finals was too much of that calm demeanor with them, that too much of that peaceful Zen demeanor. That if you're going to go against a team that you played against, that you have some history with, that you haven't had that much success against in the previous years, you kind of want to have that dog, that killer mentality. That's what I wanted to see. But going to the series, you kind of see Kyrie with this whole peaceful Zen type attitude, like, okay, I'm at peace with what will happen. Now let's just get forward. Let's move past it and let's get through this series. I want to see more of. I know he can't say it, but I want to see more of inside of him being like, you know what, like fuck this team. I'm gonna show you guys. You guys want to boo me? All right, let me show you how this is gonna go down. And we didn't really see that. I mean, throughout the whole finals, Kyrie was really of a shell of himself. Was very, I don't want to say ineffective, because he had his moments, especially in Game 5 or Game 4, where he has had that explosive game for 30 something points. But all the other games, is if it looked like that he was forcing his shot. I mean, and also credit to Boston as well, with Derek White and Drew Holiday being able to manipulate where he wanted to go. I feel like they had a strength factor on him, and you could tell from that when Kyrie was driving in, trying to get into the paint, just all that stuff. You could see that they're causing problems for Kyrie. So, and you have to consider the defense that they played on Kyrie played a huge factor. But I also want to say the shot, the attack, type of shots that Kyrie was taking was, they made him take tough shots, and Kyrie just couldn't hit them. So that's one thing that I wanted to touch on. Next thing I wanted to touch on was the Jaylen Brown MVP, which I think the MVP could have gone to multiple people throughout the finals. I mean, of course, you can go with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. For me, a dark horse that I really did see having not a great shot, but at least had a shot in winning it, was Drew Holiday, for the reasons that I mentioned. The way that he was able to guard Kyrie full court, make him go into tough shots. Same thing that he did with Luka, picking him up full court and being able and making him be able to do making him take tough shots, making him field goal percentage were low, cause turnovers, stuff like that. But also on offense, I mean, he was game 1 and 2. He was one of the top scorers in the finals. He was doing it on both sides of the court, as well as rebounding and playmaking. So there's nothing much more you could ask from him. And the game sealing game in Game 5, I mean, he scored the first 3 buckets for Boston. So it kind of looked that way, that is this going to be the Drew Holiday game where he's going to go for 30 points and kind of seal it to where he does win the MVP. Who knows? But I mean, we know now what happened. But that's why I thought it was going to be the MVP. That's why not thought it was going to be MVP. I thought he had a shot, and I kind of did want him to see MVP on some Andre Iguodala type vibe. But same thing with the MVP. I mean, Jaylen Brown, first two games of the finals, 22 points, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 7 assists, 3 steals in both games, 3 blocks in game one. 7 of 12 game one, 8 of 15, 50% shooting on both. I mean, first 3 games he had over 50% shooting. What more can you ask from a top player like that? And then also when you look at the games, I mean, Jason Tatum didn't have a great start to the finals scoring wise. I mean, everything else that he did was phenomenal. He was able to get assists, play make, get his teammates involved, able to rebound, play defense as well. But I just think that Jaylen Brown was able to do the same things that Jason Tatum was able to do in those first couple games, and he was able to add that scoring ability to it. Now, Jason Tatum was able to wake up towards the ending of the series, especially the game sealing one in Game 5. But I just want to say, I just think that from what Jaylen Brown was able to do in the beginning of the series, just to set the tone, be able to get them into the position to where they were able to finish the series in Game 5 in Boston. I think that played a much bigger factor than Jason Tatum being able to close it out because of all the other players that were there to affect the game. I mean, you could also go on with Porzingis if he didn't get hurt. I mean, game one and game two, he showed out, did his thing, was able to make tough buckets, able to just was honestly the key piece on defense to disrupting the Dallas offense. I mean, you weren't able to drive in, you weren't able to see those dunks. The pick and roll action wasn't really there with Derek Lively, and Daniel Gafford. So it could have been Porzingis. I mean, you have like a bunch of people who could have won the Finals MVP in this series from Boston because they're just that good and that complementary with each other. They don't really rely on one player to be like, oh, he's the number one option. It's more of a committee type thing, and that's exactly what we saw in this Finals with Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and Jason Tatum. And also you got to put Porzingis, but you also got to put Al Horford in there being the vet. Not saying that he was the one for he was going to be up there for MVP, but in the sense that he's a really big piece as to why they won as well. Being that veteran leader, being able to step up when Porzingis was down. Another one, Xavier Tillman, able to play those bench points, come off the bench for Horford when Porzingis was down those 2 games. So I'm not surprised that Jaylen Brown won the Finals MVP, and congratulations to him because if we go back to one of my earlier videos when I first started this last year, I was one who was bashing on Jaylen Brown, especially the way that he played in the Eastern Conference Finals last season against the Miami Heat and how they had that big meltdown. Uh, and then also when Jaylen Brown got his Supermax contract, I was also another one that said I wouldn't have signed him to that contract just in the sense that he's a number 2 option, and I just didn't really see it. But one year later, made me eat my words and was able to ball out in the biggest stage. And he's been doing this throughout the whole season, especially in the playoffs. Kind of crazy how he wasn't an All NBA, but All NBA that just if you're not an All NBA player but you're able to show out in the biggest games, I think that matters more than getting that credit. So just him, I guess that adding fuel to his fire was able to push him to go to a next level in these finals. So congratulations to Boston, but not really because I'm a Laker fan and now they got one more title over us. But all in all, great season by this team. Some people can put this as an all-time team as to how they would play against other teams. I can see it just because how dominant they were. I mean, you take their 3-point shooting, they're gonna jack up a lot of threes, and from what we've seen, just how the Warriors' recipe is, the more threes you shoot, the more you make, the more likely you're gonna win a game. So, and this, yeah, so you have to put in the offense with 3-point shooting, and the big thing is their defense. Like I've said multiple times, those 4 players, especially when Porzingis is there, those 5 players, you already have the inside already taken care of with Porzingis, and the perimeter is all taken care of because every one of those 4 players can all switch into any other position. So that's just credit to this team. Credit to Brad Stevens to be able and Danny Ainge for being able to get that trade with Brooklyn for Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and all the other players back in the day that were able to draft Jason Tatum and draft Jaylen Brown to be able to create this somewhat. Can we see a dynasty with it? Possibly because of their age and the way they're still going to play together contract wise. So congratulations to this team, but not congratulations at the same time. All right, now we're gonna go into topic two, where we're gonna be talking about some WNBA action. Now, a few weeks ago or last week, I want to say not the WNBA, Team USA made an announcement of their team who they're going to be sending to Paris for this summer, and one notable name that was left off was Caitlin Clark. Now, a lot of a lot of media people took offense to this in the sense that they they believe that it would, and I agree with this, that Caitlin, if should Caitlin Clark have been on the team, it would have garnered the game of the WNBA and the women's basketball to another level, because you're putting her on an international stage where everybody's gonna have eyes on the Olympics, and especially if a player like her caliber, and it's not just her game, but the amount of eyes that she's gonna bring to the game. The Team USA kind of just dropped the ball here and went more with the traditional aspect of, we're just going to send the best team that we have with the best 12 players. And you can't really fault them for that, just because of the amount of time that those 12 players have put in the league, being able to play consistently over the years. And you have three new players that are just being added to that team, who are going to be Olympians for the first time. But you also look at the rest of the team. They've also put in the work. They've also had the resume to say that they were rightfully chosen to be on the team. And I understand from that perspective. I understand from both perspectives that you have the Team USA, who believes that Caitlin not ready, or not she's not ready. Well, kind of, yeah, she's not ready, but you have these other players who are more deserving, in the sense that they put more time and resume into the game than they have Caitlin, who's barely in her first season in the WNBA. But then you also have the fact of the business aspect, where you could have used this not plateau, this platform, to be able to raise your game's viewership by having her out there during the biggest stage of sports. So it's just kind of crazy. And then another thing that I also want to go into is the fact that you're hearing all these other players and people and former players that are, they kind of sound bitter, and they kind of sound let's just go bitter. They just sound bitter and jealous. That's another word I want to go with. Jealous of the fact that Caitlin Clark is getting more eyes on her, than eyes are being on them. And to me, it's just kind of surprising, because of the WNBA has been around for the longest, for about 20 plus years, almost 25 years, I want to say. And we know great players have come and gone through the WNBA. I mean, you have I can't really name a lot. You have Melissa Leslie, you have Rebecca Lobo, you have Candace Parker. My personal favorite, who I think is the women's GOAT, is from my that I've seen. Never seen Cheryl Miller, never seen Cheryl Swoops, but Maya Moore. You have all these type of players. Elena Del Don. I mean, that's another one. Uh, there's a whole bunch of players that I really can't name, but we're watching the name. We're watching the game. Diana Taurasi, Sue Bird. There's some more, but we have a bunch of eyes on the league because of Caitlin Clark, because of the way she was able to revolutionize the women's game in college basketball, and now she's bringing that that uh that aspect to the league, to now where we are seeing media members talk about the game. Yeah, they're talking about her, but they're also talking about the game itself, which is one thing that you hear all the time. Any publicity is good publicity, because you're getting your name, you're getting your business, you're getting your name out there. So just the fact that she's bringing notoriety to the league, to where we're seeing it now on mainstream platforms, it's kind of it's kind of tough to see that these other players aren't really acknowledging what she's being able to do to bring the eyes. Because you bring the eyes, you're gonna bring the money. And the one thing that we've been discussing was, why are the women so underpaid? Well, it's because of a basket. It's because of a business aspect. Viewership is gonna bring money, and now you have your cash cow to where she is gonna bring money, and wherever it trickles down from the tree, you're gonna get a part of that. So I just want to go into this thing. I mean, we all know this back and forth that her and Angel Reese have having, not back and forth, but rivalry, this relationship that these two have had since their college days, to when South Carolina did beat Iowa in the final, which Angel Reese did beat in South Carolina. LSU, duh, my bad, cut. But yeah, they have been having this dynamic together ever since the past 2 years. And I just want to play this clip that we had of Angel Reese saying that just sounds pretty jealous in my opinion. And we're gonna play this right now. And you guys could tell me what you guys think, but I'll give you my reaction after this. And let's just listen to this.
I think so many people are watching women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, like, yeah, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me, too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game, and Kennedy has been here before, obviously, but there are so many great players in this league that have deserved this for a really, really long time, and luckily, it's coming now.
All right. Well, she sounded good to begin with. Like, she was spitting facts. She was just being real. But then you hear the jealousy come afterward, where it's like, it's not just about one player. It's about me too. And it's like, Angel, like, we know, like, it sounds like it's like, what it sounds is like, yeah, she's good, but I'm here too. But it's not like in a good way. It's more of like, look at me, like, look at me, look what I'm doing this too, blah 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 blah. It's like, what we like to see I saw this from the PBD podcast, and it was a big point. What we like to see is, we like to see the humble athlete who's able to come to the top and has a great story. When Caitlin Clark speaks on issues like that, you could tell she does feel uncomfortable about it, because she's put in a position that she doesn't deserve to really be in. And not in the sense that she's not worthy of it, but the fact that she has the weight of the whole league and women's basketball on her shoulders. She's only in her young 20s. She's not that much younger than me. I want to say like 20, maybe 22, 23. And it's just crazy to have a rookie have all that pressure on her. So you know she's going to be under a microscope, with everyone going to be on what she says, how she says it, the tone, the message. And you know people are going to cut up stuff to get a soundbite and ask her difficult questions. But the way she's been able to handle this media stuff and be able to still have that humble response, still be able to go out there and play basketball, although she's having her struggles here and there, but any rookie is going to have those type of struggles. It's just, it's honestly amazing to see just how she's been able to navigate through this year and just be able to go through, I don't want to say scrutiny, but more of just all the eyeballs, and her being able to have that pressure, having the pressure on her to perform. So it's with Angel, it's like, we've seen this throughout her whole times, with going back to LSU, starting this season. Like, it's just, we don't want to hear the crying, the whining, the look at me type mentality. It's just, if you play your game, you do the right things, you don't make so much noise or big fuss about something that you're not getting the recognition you think you deserve, it's gonna come. You let your game talk, it's gonna come. So that's just my issue with that. And my issue with the women's basketball league and women's basketball in general is just you have your cash cow right here. Just whatever comes down from the tree, you're gonna get something as well out of it. So let's just see how it's gonna go forward. I mean, after this season, because let's just see how it goes after this season, man. I'm rooting for Caitlin Clark. I just want to see how she's gonna do, because it's not. I mean, it is. We've seen great players come through the NBA, but let's just see how her story plays out. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's just see how her story plays out. And that's going to be it for episode 11 of the Dubs Only podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in for another episode next week. We're going to do episode 12. Just appreciate y'all for watching again. Like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, family, baby mama, all that shit. Share that. Help me get my views up. Appreciate y'all. And you know how it is. Catch you later. Peace. That I'm about to head far. This life feel like a course and I'm about to shoot for par. Now ain't that quite bizarre? Now watch me pull up in my car. Got this fine woman driving down York Boulevard. They always say they take a look at yourself in the mirror. You always see your true self, can't be any clearer.
Hey man, let me tell you something, man. Don't let nobody tell you can't chase your dream and go do what you want to do, man. It's out there for you to get it, man. See this man out here getting it, man. We out here getting it, putting their face. Man, it's you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say how many years later on it is, but it's a whole bunch of years later. You know what I'm talking about? We still looking good in the hood. You know what I'm talking about? What's up, love? Look, I see you.